Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. We're very excited to have this young lady on. Love her background. Like she's got it all going on back there. And you know how much I love our musical guest. And Susan Hickman is here. We're going to talk about the rewind with Susan Hickman. I got to know what that's all about. And she's going to perform for us and give us her journey. Welcome, Susan. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Good to be
I am
here.
doing great. I am loving the music. I'm excited to hear you perform. I'm excited to hear your journey, and I know they are too. So, we love Origin Story, which I told you about before we went live. So, give them a little bit of info on your background and maybe a little bit about your journey on how this professional musician with the great background and the nice mic. It's a journey, and they all love to hear the journey.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is a journey, that's for sure. Gosh, I started singing in church. I started playing piano when I was 5. I grew up singing in church and playing, violin, piano. And
Violin too?
yeah, yeah, I started playing when
Wow.
I was 12.
That's a hard instrument.
It is hard, and people always say how hard like the violin and the piano is. And for me, actually playing guitar was my struggle because I didn't start playing guitar until I was 19. And
Wow.
yeah, so guitar I wanted to play. My mom had a guitar that I would beat on, and I'd try to figure things out when I was little, but it was monster big, and I was tiny. And so my mom, she was like, "Well, just start with piano, let's grow with that." And then years later I started with violin, but my huge passion, I wanted to play the guitar so bad. I wanted to be able to accompany myself.
So when you
um
write a piece of music, and we'll get into your a little bit, but I'm curious since we're talking about instruments, are you able to think of all the instruments and what how they would come into play depending on the song when you are performing? Do you think of that? Because that's those are three sort of different sounds, but when they come together, they're so beautiful.
I do. So I think about, so when I write with my guitar, and I can hear all the other instrumentation of how I kind of want it to sound
So
and get the feel for it.
amazing.
And that actually helps me. If I haven't finished writing it, that'll actually help me write like
That's a gift because
the
I don't even think I could play that little recorder we used to play in school. Like I'm terrible at any of that. I can't read music. All right, so talk about so you started early, obviously, and then you began to really fine tune everything by learning new instruments as you went along. 12 violin, right,
Mhm.
and then 19 guitar.
Mhm.
Um, but to transition into an actual performer as your career, as your passion, as your life's work, was that difficult as an adult? Did you study? Did you decide, all right, I'm just going to do it and start performing? What was that journey like for you?
Well, yeah, the guitar was interesting. So I started actually like doing music professionally. Like I had, I was in, different bands. I got my feet wet at a pretty early age. I started actually making money performing when I was about 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
So by this time, by like at 19, 20, as I'm learning guitar, I was very comfortable on stage, but I didn't really play much. I just sang. So when I started learning guitar, it was a huge struggle for me. Like I got so frustrated, I put it down for a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't quit anything. If I set my mind something, I'm going to do it. But I got so frustrated because I thought I had to learn every chord, every scale, all the things. And my guitar player in my band at the time, Danny, he was like, "Okay, learn one song. Learn one song with like two or three chords, nail that, figure out how to sing along with it, and then once you got it, move on to the next one that has like maybe the same chords, just a different rhythm pattern, or add a chord, something like that." And so literally, like, he's like, between him giving me that advice and teaching me like a little bit more about music theory, through, our like after gig sessions on the like the back tailgate, just he really helped me, and he's a huge reason why I can actually play the guitar now, because I got so frustrated. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, it's so hard. And But
Well,
yeah,
people don't realize that. Like I have sang on stage only as the singer.
hmm
So when you have to think, you're thinking two levels, multiple levels actually. You're playing, you got to pay attention to that. You're singing and performing. It's not just a robotic kind of performance. So you've got a lot of moving parts going on up there. And I think you probably make it look easy, but as you just shared, that journey isn't always that easy. It's a lot of moving parts and a brain that is functioning, but you still have a lot that you have to keep up with.
hmm For sure. I remember the first time I stepped on stage with that guitar with the band and all the things. I don't get nervous when I sing. I don't get like stage fright or anything like that. I never was really I was always very comfortable on stage, in my like my years now, I guess. But I remember that first time I stepped on stage, I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't mess up.
Well, because it's one thing to just have the mic, right? You've got the mic and the performance and the audience.
hmm
But when you add an instrument to the whole thing, it's a lot going on in the brain because you really have to play or you won't have any music to sing and
Yep.
you really have to focus on the audience, but you don't want them to see that you're also trying to play. I mean, I kudos to you for being able to do all that. I have to ask, 2020 was a crazy year. We talked with all our musical guests about this. How did you pivot? What did you do different? Did you collaborate more? Did you shut down? Did you produce more? What was 2020 like for you?
2020 was like a vacation for me. It was no joke. It
Love
was
it.
probably the first time in 20 years that I actually did nothing. Like I actually took time and I worked out every day. My boyfriend and I, we worked out. We went to the pool. We spent literally like the entire time with the same seven people, or like seven including us. And we just had fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we played a lot of live streams and we did a lot of that kind of stuff. So we play music and all that kind of stuff. Didn't write a whole lot. I'm writing a lot more now than during quarantine and during 2020. But
Why do you think that is? Why are you writing more now?
because I think since that was such a crazy time, like nobody knew what to do. We were like, okay,
No
we've
idea.
al- we've always been like very, very busy. I've always been, playing like I played over 200 shows a year,
Wow.
like, for 21 years. And for the first time ever, I was able to just sit down and like, I don't have to do anything today. I can watch TV, which I never do or never did before. We watch movies. We hung out with our friend, the friends that we hung out with, and it was, yeah, it was very, very cool.
So you actually took it to you took it as a positive and you had a mental break during it.
Yeah, it was a mental break. I mean, don't get me wrong. The first week, I literally sat in a chair going, "What am I going to do with
Because
my
you're
life?"
so used to being so busy that you sitting down to be able to think about how you don't have anything to do is a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, and if I'm not performing, I'm sitting, I'm booking shows, I'm updating my website, I'm updating my social media, I'm doing all these things, and that takes, several hours a day, and there was none of that because there was nothing to
There was
update.
nothing you couldn't. What about, so tell me about 2021. Are you seeing it from your perspective as an artist? Are you seeing performances coming back? Are you planning more, booking more? What's 2021 look like for you?
It's been great so far. It started off a little bit slow, which was fine. I totally expected that. But like March and April, I did like 17 and 18 shows, in
Wow,
those months.
it's
Um,
awesome.
this month is also, it's picking up, and we're planning a summer fall tour, which so we can kind of get out of Texas a little bit, and because we've
Oh, is that where you're at?
yeah, yeah. So I'm
What
just south
part?
of Houston, Galveston County. It's in Dickinson.
All right, so people want to hear music, so that's where we're at. So tell us a little bit about the first song that you're going to sing. Give us some background on it. They love to know the story behind it so that when you play it and perform it, that they know where your heart was when you were performing it.
Of course. So this first song that I'm gonna do is it's called Rewind, and I wrote this 7 or 8 years ago. It was a time in my life where um, I was so busy. I had so much stuff on my plate. I was really overextended, and I was like mentally, I was not in the best place because I had so much stuff going on. And at the time, I was always like a yes person, like yes, yes, just make everybody happy, and I really like I drained my energy levels because of that. And so I was on the way to a mentoring session. Over the years I've mentored, several different singer-songwriters coming up, and um just kind of helping them, guide them through the music business, what like with whatever they needed, if it's writing, if it's booking shows, if it's, help with social media, that kind of stuff. And I was on the way to one of those sessions, and I got an idea in the car. And so I turn on my little voice recorder, and I'm, writing down my ideas. And the thing that popped into my head was I need a rewind button because I was obviously late, getting to this session. I was frustrated. And so we get there, and this gal, her name is Courtney Heiser. She's adorable. I think she was 16 at the time. Um, we sat down, and we both were late. We both were, go go go. We go, and we sit down in our little writing room, and I was like, okay, how was your day? And she's like, girl, same. Like it's like I can't keep up with it. She's like, I'm, my schedule is full. I play volleyball, and now this. And I was like, what have you been working on? And da da da. And she's like, I haven't even had time to sit down and write or do anything this week. And because we met on a weekly basis. And I said, okay, I got an idea for this song in the car. Do you want to, since we can't really like mentally like figure out what we want to do right now, you want to help me write it? And she's like, of course, of course. And
Love it.
and so I told her, I was like, just start talking, tell me everything that's going on. Why are you frustrated? Why are you overextended? What do you think that you could do to help yourself, and all these things? And she just started talking, and I started writing, and I was like, okay.
Okay, I got enough for the song.
But yeah, I mean, and then I ended up finishing it later, and sent her the final tune, and she's like, yeah, this is cool, we did
Love
good.
it. All right, well, I'm gonna take myself off. Susan Hickman is gonna perform.
Heard people say, live and let live is a way to let your worries go. I know tomorrow is coming fast, I've gotta hurry, I'm running out of gas. If I let the wind carry me away, will my mind erase all my burdens today? It's hard to focus when it's so far behind. Emotions are shouting so loudly in my mind. I need to rewind. I need to rewind. Oh, thieves steal your time like it is their own. Troubles that come and you can't let them go. The pressures from life we carry on our backs. It's tough to see the light through the cracks. If I let the wind carry me away, will my mind erase all my burdens today? It's hard to focus when we're so far behind. Emotions are shouting so loudly in my mind. I need to rewind. I need to rewind. I need to rewind. I need to rewind. If I let the wind carry me away, will my mind erase all my burdens today? It's hard to focus when so far behind. Emotions are shouting so loudly in my mind. I need to rewind. I need to rewind. Whoa.
Wow, that was so good.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful voice,
Thank you. I appreciate
really. Not a single missed note either. You know, it's hard to perform live. I think people don't realize you got to, again, I'm thinking because I've only had the microphone, you got to figure out this too on top of it. I mean, it's a lot. So your voice is pure and natural and gorgeous. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. I loved it. When you sing that, or when Courtney hears you sing that, do you guys go back to that place? It's Courtney, right?
Yeah.
Do you go back to that place? Do y'all get emotional thinking about it since it was such a crazy time you were both dealing with?
You know, I haven't seen her in a very long time. I talk to her mom more than I talk to her nowadays, which isn't very often, but every now and then we'll just kind of check in with each other. She's in college right now and she's got a crazy schedule but I hope that she looks back on that and she's like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
It's so cool. Now everything's different.
Yeah.
All right, what are you performing next?
I'll do a song called Moth to a Flame. This is a song that I wrote, goodness, it's been like 10 years ago, maybe not quite that long. But I fell in love with this song. I was literally sitting on the couch one night by myself in my little apartment on the lake, and I was watching Netflix, and I was just sitting back, and I have a very common problem of just sitting and daydreaming, through like if I'm reading a book or watching TV or whatever it is.
Yep.
I space off and I started just writing this song in my head and I was like, I need to turn off the TV. And actually, it was funny because I was literally scrolling through trying to figure out what to watch. I got this idea for this song. But anyway, I was going through, it wasn't really a breakup. Like I dated this guy for a little while and it just turned out that we weren't very compatible with each other. And, I still know him. I still wish him very well for sure. But, yeah, we just weren't right for each other. But I wrote this song and I was in that situation, not necessarily really what the song was about, but, if you listen to the words, you're like, oh God,
I love it.
Relationship, but it really wasn't.
All right, I'm going to take myself off. Susan Hickman.
It's called Moth to a Flame. Hope you guys like it.
Love it.
Should listen to what the people say. When it came to you, you once tried it and then you wrecked me. I to the bait like a child. You said all the right things. No, I never meant to fall. I was drawn to you despite your game. to flame. You said it was hard to let your guard down. It was hard for me too, yeah. Swore I never loved another. Oh, no, no, no. Then along came you. You said all the right things. No, I never meant to fall. I was drawn to you despite your game, like a moth to a flame. I could have been everything you needed if you wanna just let me in. I hope you're happy in the bed we used to lay. Ooh, I bet it still smells like me. You said all the right things. No, I never meant to fall. I was drawn to you despite your game, like a moth to a flame. I was blinded, I would have taken your name, like a moth to a flame. To a flame.
Like, so good. I'll tell you the truth. Artists don't know this unless you've watched the show before. I take myself off, mainly because in case you're really bad, my face will definitely show it. So I'm just sitting there. I'm thinking the whole time, that's a God-given gift on the voice. So absolutely beautiful. I love that song. It should be number one on any. Do you consider yourself country on genre, right? Country pop?
Country, yes. I mean, I tend to be a little bit more on the, I don't know. See, I don't think
That song sounds like, I mean, that was beautiful. I loved every minute of that. That was really, really good. So good. That's what that's what I'm talking about when y'all come on and you do these kind of performances. It's so good because, guys, you don't know how difficult that can be to perform live with no auto tune and nothing else, and you got nothing but raw talent performing for you. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing your journey and your music. So how can my audience best reach out to you, support you, learn more about you, download your music? What's the best way?
Well, I mean, the hub is susanhickman.com. So you can find all of my social media that way. Facebook, Susan Hickman, Instagram, Susan Hickman Music. Same with YouTube. I got a bunch of videos on there, and I'll be posting a whole lot more very soon. I do have a Patreon account, but I have not launched it yet. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, SusanHickman.com. You can find everything that you need there.
You're amazing. Please come back anytime. You've got a new release. You want to perform. We will listen. That was absolutely awesome. Go to SusanHickman.com. Thanks, Susan, so much for being on the show. What a great way to end the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, go out and support our artists like Susan. 2020 was crazy. Let's make 2021